Yeah. We here now. We live in effect. Let me bring it in a little bit, Cam. What's up? First of all, what's up, Cam?
What's good with it?
All right, then. I ain't seen none of Jasmine. I talk to her all the time. So,
what's up, Troy? We gonna speak anyway.
What's good? Hey, welcome to the Night Lounge. I'm your host, Troy Smith. I'm here with the dynamic couple, Jasmine Harris and Cam Houston. Say hello, people.
Hey, y'all.
What's good?
Hey, my credit family, my credit cousins.
Credit family, credit cousins, all that. Look, we got big time people on the show today, so make sure you literally like, subscribe, share, all of that stuff. But let me just back it up. I want you to make sure you subscribe to the NOTI Lounge. NOTI LOUNGE, the NOTI Lounge, which stands for not overthinking it. So it's not a porno shop. Nothing crazy. What is the NOTI Lounge? It's about helping people not overthink stuff. Okay. So we want to help people get their credit on point today. We want to help people get ready to get their first house today. That's why we got the dynamic couple. We got Jasmine and Cameron Houston. All right. So look, we're going to go in and stop all that. We here now. So make sure you share, subscribe, and actually be a part of what we got going on today. You can actually leave comments because we're going to make sure we get it up on the screen, and we're going to let you be able to ask the credit expert. I know a lot of folks want to know, how can I get my credit to the 800s? Right. We got people that may want to know how to get their first house, or actually, how can I get ready to buy my first mansion? What's the first steps to do it? So that's why we got Cam here.
Yes, sir.
Now, Cam, is this your first podcast interview?
Yeah, this is my first podcast interview.
Your chest is full of air too. It's sitting up high because you don't know what this. You don't feel nervous, people. Jasmine, take care. Make sure you don't feel nervous. Okay.
Oh, he gonna be all right.
Well, Jasmine, she's no stranger to the NOTI Lounge. She's been here before. Told us a little bit about her story. How she got into the credit industry because, and here's her significant other, who actually was a part of that story because when they moved from Mississippi,
from the South,
and moved up to Nashville for better, greener pastures, they thought, right? They had to do some things to get things done. So welcome to both of you all. So talk to us. How you feel today? How y'all feel right now?
Feeling good. Every day is looking better and better, man. You know, just stay prayed up, and we're moving through. Trying to be inspiration to people.
I'm feeling really excited. Like, I've been doing, credit for some time now, and Cam, he's been helping me in the background. But it's just really powerful what we're doing now, I think, because not only do we get to build generational wealth for our family, but we also get to teach it, to other people as well. So I'm really excited about that. Really looking forward to everything that's, coming ahead. So that's how I'm feeling.
That's how you feeling. I mean, that's the perfect duo to have, is someone in credit and someone in real estate.
Yes, sir.
Because everybody talking about getting their house, then their credit be shot.
Everybody need credit.
Everybody need credit.
You need it.
Now they tell you not to get no credit so you don't have to owe nobody. But in order to buy those big transactions, you gotta have some credit though. The credit
Unless you hit the lottery. If you hit the lottery, you might be good.
You ain't worried about it. So why you mentioned that everybody needs credit. What if your credit in the 500s? And we try. Can I buy a house now with 500 credit score? Can I do that?
You can if you have a large sum of money down. Again, if you hit the lottery or you got the money, you can pay for anything you want with cash. But in order to not have to spend all your money, you're gonna need some credit.
You want to leverage other OPM, other people's money.
Yes. Oh, okay. You can't be dropping acronyms like that and not breaking it down. OPM. Into it. You talking about OPP? Yeah, you know me. Tell me about the OPM. Other people's
money. Other people's money. Why would you take all of your money and put it down when you could leverage it? You could use your credit to leverage it, and you can have your hand in multiple different pots instead of having all of your eggs in one basket, if that makes sense.
That makes a ton of sense. So I want to let y'all know right now is that if you're on the live chat, you got to make sure that you actually give StreamYard the opportunity to actually use your face and put your name up if you want us to see your questions. But they're here today to answer any question you may have about credit and also about home purchasing. And there's a number at the bottom too, 615-745-9438. That would allow you to actually call in.
Yes, y'all call me. Oh,
call
sorry.
in. Yeah. No, you do it. Tell them. Call in.
You know, I ain't trying to take over. Look.
Yeah, she's very proactive.
Yeah, you know he fired me. You know he done fired me, so I gotta calm down a little bit.
Now, but that's the thing about it. Cam, why you bring her back, dog? I would have fired, man. Why you do that?
She's my better part.
He
You know,
got no choice.
I have a choice. I'm motivated by her. She's a very smart businesswoman.
So real quick,
she's my, you know,
she what?
She's my goat. You know, my marketing goat. She's good at what she do.
Look at that. He trying to stay married, ain't he?
Yeah. He's a smart man, ain't he?
But so before we get into the deeper of the why people are still getting their thoughts together, because I want y'all to call in and do that. While you getting your thoughts together, tell us a little bit about how you both met and got to where you are now.
That's so funny. So we actually met through you want to tell it because I don't want to talk all the time. So, but we actually met through his brother.
Yeah, my brother, one of my little brothers,
and through my best friend at the time. She was going with his brother actually, and we ended up going. I was going to school in Northwest in Mississippi, and he was living in Oxford. You know what Ole Miss is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where he's from. And so we actually, my friend was like, come on, you know, take me over here to see his brother. And I was like, okay, cool. So we went over there, we was chilling. And I actually shot my shot.
Oh, you
I was the one, huh?
You watch Hamilton. Not gonna miss my shot.
Yeah, I went, I pursued him. I asked for his phone number and he could have turned it down, but look at here.
Look at that. But I mean, look at him. I'm not Trevor. I'm going to call you Trevor. Jesus. I'm thinking about two podcasts at once. But Cam, how do you feel about a woman coming up to you, man, and saying, hey, let me get your number. Let me get them digits. Run them.
I gave it a thought process, but I gave it a shot, and I'm glad I did because I was two-sided on it. So I'm very glad I did because I'm usually the one that approaches people, not the one that gets approached. So, you know, it was a little difference, and look what came from it.
Look at that. Now you got kids and everything else. Now you got businesses. You needed somebody to motivate you, man. Ain't nothing like a woman to motivate you.
Striving to be better. That's all.
Striving to be better. That's why I like. See, we got to get the backstory first before we get deep into it because that gives you that home, that feeling of connection, you know.
Yeah.
Now, Cam, we're gonna talk about the credit part first. Then we're gonna get to the houses. But Jasmine said she got into credit because her teeth was messed up, and she got her teeth fixed with this credit. You know, tell us how'd you feel about having bad teeth and then get some credit? You need to get credit for bad teeth fixed.
He still love me through it all. You know, when you got bad teeth, your breath be stinking and everything.
Breath stinking, all that. Breath.
He loved me through it all.
He loved it. Now she got a whole veneer in her mouth. That's what I'm talking about. All brand new.
Hello, I'm trying to get y'all some.
So look, so Cam, she gave us a little insight before about how the credit was just shot. You know, coming from the African American community, being black. Sometimes you got credit in your name at the age of 3. You don't even know you got a car.
Yeah.
Shot.
Light bill
in your name, everything like that. And you get older, say, hey, I want to do something with my life. You find out your credit shot. And then you make a move, transition from Mississippi to Nashville. Job stuff didn't work out like it needed to. How's it being a man, you know, being a black man, of course, been married, you trying to do what you need to do things right. And you couldn't do really anything because your credit was shot. How was that? How were you able to overcome that?
I come from a working background. My family is full of workers. You know, we build and can fix anything. So I was always able to I can do just about anything. But as far as credit, I come from a background where I didn't know anything about credit. I didn't have anything in my name or have to worry about that part or a light bill or anything. but it was just the mere fact of me not being educated on credit. I didn't know that. I literally didn't know the importance of it while we were in Mississippi, because nothing in Mississippi for me relied on it. I had a car, it was in my name, so I didn't have to go to the car line and get no car or nothing. So it was like when you move to an area where you have to have credit to get into these apartments or try to get into a home, it was a shock, a culture shock to me almost, because I felt like I was living under a rock in Mississippi, not knowing the other side of things. So it was a very big difference.
Because we were living in government assisted homes. We didn't need credit. Like nothing, we didn't need it. So, and my car was paid for. Well, my car was paid for. His car, he had an old Crown Vic.
1990.
Yeah, his car was paid for. So we was good, like, until we got up here.
And he can fix everything with his hands. I mean, he got there and using his bare hands, changing engines and dropping engines in cars. So, you know.
She used to have to make me come, and she was like, "You gonna be out there all day?" I'm like, I'm just fixing on stuff, you know.
But y'all said a key thing: we're not educated enough on the importance of credit.
Yeah.
And then we think about so you think about, you get a house, you go buy a house cash. Well, in Mississippi, you might be able to buy something cash.
Yeah.
10,000, 12,000, wherever you living at. But if you want to live in a better lifestyle or live in a better environment, you got to spend some money. And other times we come from that background where it's like, I don't need any credit. What I need credit for? Or then your mama or daddy or whoever raised you, don't get no credit.
Yeah.
Because they telling you from experience of their self and not being educated on it. So they credit shot. So they telling you, you don't need no credit. Well, if I want to buy this house that fit my family in it, I'm going to need some credit.
Yep.
And my mama say that to this day. She be like, you better leave all those credit cards alone. And I'm the credit lady.
And I come from spending cash. I always was a cash person. I wouldn't even keep money in the bank. Like when I had got a check, I would pull it all out and just keep it in cash, because I didn't even use bank cards at one point in time. So
let's stay right there. Let's stay right. Go ahead, Jam. You better say something. Go ahead. Let's stay on.
We actually butted heads, me and him, because we only had, at the time, his car, he only had the Crown Vic. And he was still working on it. It was a work in progress at the time. And so my 2001 Maxima, it was only, we were a growing family, and we needed another car. And we kind of like went back and forth, because he was the person solely wanting to use cash. Period. Like, we could just go find a car and pay for it. We could just go find a car and pay for it. It was me who wanted to say, no, we need to go to the car lot and get a reliable car. One that we know works, right? Or possibly they could fix it if something goes wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's telling the truth when he say he solely wanted to use cash. So yeah.
I can relate to that, Cam.
She didn't like riding in the Crown Vic.
Yeah, she too bougie for all that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be seen in the old school.
In the old school with the tinted windows. You had tinted windows on.
No, I ain't tinted. That's why. That's why.
But look, when I first got my first car note, I was like 20, something like that. Who was that? Is that little Cam?
Yeah, one of them.
Well, look, when I first got my first note, I was like 25, 26 years old. Because I like Cam. I come up from like you are. We come up from subsidized living. It was only about $40 or $4 a month, or whatever it was. Come from single parent household at times. We're not educated on the fact of having credit or spending other people's money in the best way. Because people are spending other people's money, they might be taking it from them. That's a whole nother story. But the fact is, I had a Tahoe. When I first met my wife, had a Tahoe, and that thing stayed breaking down. I mean, I've got my, I come from Chevy Caprices, Crown Vics, town cars, all those things we can buy cash, $1,500, the normal good part.
That's it.
But you go through getting your oil changing all the time, doing all type of things, get the tune up. Because I bet Cam, and I bet you too, Jasmine, the first thing you did when you bought a car cash, what you do? What they tell you to do? Get a tune up.
Yeah.
Go get a tune up. So I'm used to that, putting new starters on it, all that stuff. So I used to drive down the interstate to Memphis to see my wife, my girlfriend at the time, before we got married. my car would always be overheating, or I was so used to not having AC in my car either, so the windows was always down. Because every car had AC that wasn't working right, and if the AC was working right, it might overheat, right? So the last time the truck broke down, I took it to lunch or something like that, and the freaking belt popped off or something. So I went down to a Chevrolet place. They told me I couldn't get a car. My credit wasn't good enough. The next place I went up to, and went to the Chrysler place, bought a Charger.
Right.
I was so scared. My first car note interest rate was 17%. Car note 370.
Yeah. How much you had to put down?
But I didn't put nothing down.
Okay.
But I never had a car note. So I was used to having to make sure if I had a car note 370, then I might be scared I had to get my car fixed. But guess what? When you got a 2000, whatever the car is of that year, you got warranties on it. So you're not educated.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Not educated on keeping things, things are actually working.
That's right.
But I was so nervous all the time when that car note got ready to come up. The first day or first 2 days or first week, I was calling the car dealership back and forth. Hey, man, I need to come and get my truck back. They said, that truck is gone.
Yep.
He said, Mr. Smith, and this would calm me down. They said, you're complaining or worried about a car note and you didn't even made the first note payment yet.
Oh, wow. The nerve.
I was nervous. I was scared.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, that whole story bringing that up, the fact is I wasn't educated on it, not knowing different things in place that, the car works. So you don't have to worry about keep getting it fixed. But I learned a lot then. My credit score was like a 5 something. You follow what I'm saying? Like, but this went back in the 2006 and 7. All you had to do is breathe. You can get a house.
Yeah.
Your credit could be shot. And I was looking for a house at a 545, looking for a house back then.
High interest rate.
Interest rate 9%, 10%.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're going to pay the cost long term.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You don't want to have to do that. You don't want to have to pay the cost long term.
Definitely don't.
Save yourself some money in the beginning. I know we don't think about that a lot of times. We just think about the fact that, hey, this is what I want and I'm going to get it. But you're saving yourself money over the course of a long period of time. And that's what's important.
Well, so this is why I'm going to bring it down to Cam. I didn't learn or be educated about my education. About being educated on my credit score until a realtor told me.
Oh, wow.
You follow? Like they said, so I went to go get pre-qualified at a 545. And, I'm just out of college, grad school. I ain't thinking about no credit. I ain't know no amount of credit. I've been to school my whole life. The only time I ever had a credit card is when I used to go get them sandwiches. When I used to come down to the cabinets and say, hey, sign up for a credit card to get a Subway sandwich.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or get a t-shirt or something like that. So I didn't really have anything pop up at all. I didn't really worry about no credit until I was trying to buy a house. They said you need to have you need to have a 620 at least. But their realtor told me what to do. And she started educating me on the importance of the credit and how to get the credit up. So realtors like Cam are very important because they can actually give you some insight and understand about your credit. But it's nothing better though to have a wife or a spouse that's a credit expert.
Yes.
So did you ever go through real credit issues though, Cam? Did y'all ever tell us about the time? Give us some assurance to know you've been there and done that before, so we don't feel like we only one out here sucking.
Yeah, I done had plenty of credit issues. I done experienced, repossessions. I done experienced denials on trying to get into a home. I don't even know where to even start with those stories because, like I said, I come from a background where, I ruled in cash, but when it was time to try to go get something like a major asset, I couldn't get it because of credit. Especially when my family was growing. That was one of the things that kind of hit me the hardest, that I couldn't access the other side. I got cash, but who keeps large amounts of cash on them to be able to pay for something in cash of a big asset? So
you could tell them about the time when we moved up here. We moved up here with family members.
Oh yeah.
And we almost went back home. So
yeah, we did almost go home. We were staying with people and being me, we were staying with her family, me being me, I don't like relying on other people to do stuff. So it was a situation where we needed to get in somewhere, a place of our own for our family, because I don't like being a burden on people. So yeah, it was real detrimental to me. I was just like, I didn't want to go home, because when I got here, I was reluctant to come at first, because I was settled in. That's what I knew. I knew being in Mississippi. I knew how to maneuver in my environment, but it was definitely time for a change. And overall, it was the best move that we made, because we had some struggles here. We couldn't, everything that we applied for here, we got denied. We really had to sit down with each other and figure out another way to provide for our family and get to the next step to try to get a home. Our major thing was trying to find a place to stay for us, so we'll have our own.
Now, Jasmine, tell us that story and complete that story, because you was telling us about how one time you said we can't be the only one just keep getting denied like that.
Yeah. So when we first got here,
a poster on us to say deny these folks.
Yeah. So when I was in Mississippi, it was a store right up the road from us. Was it JCPenney or Belk?
Belk.
It was Belk. So anytime you go in those department stores, and I'm sorry, y'all, I know my baby.
Hey, it's Corona, man. You good?
Yeah, we couldn't get rid of her because she's 4. We got rid of the other 2 though. But it was a store right up the road from my government. You remember I told you we lived in a government assisted home. So it was a store built right up the road. And so I would go in there, shop for little clothes and stuff. And when you get to the counter, they always say, well, if you apply for this card, you'll get 15% off. So every time I would do it, not knowing that when you constantly apply for stuff, that makes you look really, really risky to the lenders, because they're thinking about the fact that they're thinking that you're desperate for credit at this time. And so anytime like they would say, well, I'm sorry, you'll receive something in the mail and why you didn't get approved, I would just walk to the car like, okay, whatever, and I would do it every time I went in there. And then he didn't tell the story about how we used to go to Walmart.
I couldn't tell it because they reminded me of that when you was telling that story.
But what happened at first was I would go to the store, I did not care, I would get denied, and then when we moved here, we went from apartment complex to apartment complex, like literally. And it took about a good 3 for me to be like, you know what? These people can't be just denying me for no reason. Like they can't, because at first I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was because I was black. I was like, okay. But then it took me to come to terms like, you know what? They can't be just doing it because I'm black. Like one lady actually was trying to help us, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, but that was me being ignorant to credit or not really knowing, that it has nothing to do with your race. Like some people do think that it's because you black. And I've heard some people saying, well, white people and black people have different credit scores anyway. And I'm like, what book that in?
Yes.
So, I really thought that it was because of who I was or what I looked like. But it really took me to just be like, you know what? It's not that. It's deeper than that. It's something that's on my credit that I need to take a look at. And that's what caused me to start taking deeper looks into, myself, my credit, and then Cameron's credit as well.
And that person left a comment. We're going to get to it. We're going to get to that too. Matter of fact, let's go and get to it right now. The comment says, how do you keep your credit steady? I recently got into the 750 range, but it jumps up and down between the 600 and 700s all the time. Jasmine, how can we do that?
So that's a good question. You do have to know, like, with different changes that takes effect to your credit, your scores are going to fluctuate often. It's going to fluctuate. It's what they call rebucketing. So anytime you have a change, whether it's you using your credit cards, if you're going over the 30% mark, or if you're going over 20%, anytime you raise the balance on that credit card, your scores are going to take a slight drop. Okay, so keeping it steady, you just want to make sure that you keep your utilization low. And you want to make sure that you're not just out here applying for things just because. Like, apply for stuff that you really need and try to do it 6 months apart. Don't apply for multiple things within 6 months, because it takes 2 years for those inquiries to fall off your credit report. So try to do it within 6 months, a 6-month time period, and just keep all your bills on time. But if it's just from credit utilization, you can easily just make sure you keep that low.
So a credit like blood pressure, you go up and go down. One day it'd be good, and next minute it'd be. I don't know where to get to that point.
Yeah, depending on what you do with it.
So Cameron, what made you get into real estate though, man? What made you? I mean, you went from the credit thing. Jasmine started researching, educating herself, and educating the family because she ain't just gonna do something just for herself. Especially when you got a family. That's a good thing about Jasmine. She's gonna show the whole tribe, right? Yeah. And get everybody on point. But then you do that. What made you want to get into real estate?
Well, it's one of those things like, younger, coming out of school, I actually always wanted to do real estate. I thought it was something interesting to do even back then. Back then, part of the lack of education, I thought that you had to go to college in order to get into that business, because coming from where I'm from and me being the black male, only people I seen around me were white people who were realtors from the town that I'm from. And, so I'm thinking like, okay, from the way they present themselves with nobody actually informing me that you can go to school and pertain these licenses without having to go to college. I thought that was something I had to go to college for. I did go to college, but I didn't go to college for that. I went computer engineering because, like I said, I didn't know, and I didn't have anybody around me that would share that information with me or kind of guide me on my options on that. I ended up picking that major myself. So
he didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, I didn't think it was possible. But when I moved here, I had a family friend. It basically revisits. Sometimes things are for you, and I was like, wow, I can do that here. And I was like, man, they would really compliment Jasmine and myself, because it's something that I always wanted to do, and we love helping people. Mm-hmm. We love trying to give people their first start, because we understand how it is to start off not knowing how to pertain to credit, how not to get into that first home and leave a legacy for your kids. That's one of the major things that we have in common as far as helping people and getting into a home.
Mm-hmm. Now, how tough has it been though? Because, coming up for both of you, growing up in that environment, saying you don't need no credit, don't get no credit card, don't do this, don't do that. And you having to educate people on your family on the importance of credit. They want the world, but then you try to explain it to them, they think it's just going to be given to them, And then if they don't get something, they say it's because I'm black. Have you experienced that?
I've never heard people. I've seen some people say, like, I have a free credit Facebook group where we give daily tips all day long in there. I've heard some people say it's because hey, we got black people in credit, white people credit scores are different. But as far as my family, like, they have never said that. They just they're open to learning. I've helped a lot of my family members actually. So.
All right, so let's just go ahead and get rid of some mythology, get rid of some myths about credit. People say they want their credit to be better, and they expect it to be done the next day. They took a whole lifetime of killing their credit, but they get with you and expect you to make a miracle happen the next day. Help us get rid of some myths about credit being turned around instantly.
So here's the thing with that. I always tell people, and I always educate my clients. I always say, listen. This is not something that was occurred overnight. Like, this did not happen overnight, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to be fixed overnight. Another thing that's important to think about is the fact that when we're disputing on your behalf, or when you're disputing on your own, right? This is not a day-to-day process. This is a process where you have to send a letter off, and then you wait 30 days, because legally they have 30 to 45 days to respond back to you. Right. Mm-hmm. So this is not something where we wake up every day and they're working on it, or it's in the works. Right. It's a 30-day process, 30 to 45-day process. So that's why, it's just important to realize you just have to have patience with anything you do. You have to have patience, and you have to trust the process, because it's going to happen as long as you stay consistent and you do the recommended steps, because this process is a proven process that has worked for many people that we come in contact with. You just have to, we gonna give our all. You just have to give, you have to meet us halfway.
Now, you said the process, Cameron. I want you.
That's Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, you know that's his mantra that he go by.
Tell me
Trust
about
the process.
I don't know about that. Joel Embiid. I don't even know who that is.
He played for the 76ers.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
But my thing is this. Now, Cameron, let's get rid of the myth of people thinking they can come to you and say, I want to buy a house today. Oh, by the way, I don't have no money. So they, because let me rephrase my question. People come to you and they say, I want to buy my first house.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to come to Cameron. Oh, Cameron do real estate. Cool. Cameron, I want to buy my first house. And they come to you and say, I want this house, that house, that house. And they say, oh yeah, but by the way, I ain't got no money. What are you telling them?
What is your credit score?
Okay, there you go. So what's your first tell somebody come to you then? I want to buy my first house. What they sell? What are you telling them? How are you helping them understand the process?
Well, I let them know that they gotta have money coming up. There are closing costs, fees that's associated with procuring a home. So you got to pay for an inspection. You don't want to go into that home. You don't want to go into that home blindly, not knowing what's wrong with that house too. You have to pay for that. If you are getting into a home, if it's not a new build, you want to get an inspection.
Mm-hmm.
You want to, because you're going to be pissed off if you get in there and something breaks down on day one.
Right.
What's that movie? I can't remember it right now, but it's one of those things where you kind of got to try to meet people where they are. Like, you can have a credit score. There are programs out there that help you with down payment and closing costs, but they're not going to pay for everything. So it's going to take some type of money. You at least want to have like $3,000 or more saved before start trying to get into a home, because you're going to have down payment and closing costs. There are programs out there that help you assist with that, but it's always money that's going to come with getting into a home, because it's a big asset.
Mm-hmm.
It's not one of those things like a car where it's only $20,000, $30,000 if you get into it, depending on what type of car you're getting into. These are $100,000 assets that you're trying to buy. So they're not going to cover everything. You need some money.
Do you advise people to get pre-qualified first? Or, when they try to go find a house, do you just say, let's go find your house, let's start searching right now, not knowing where they are?
I advise them to get pre-qualified first, simply because you want to know where you are. You don't want to go into anything blindly. Mm-hmm. You want to know what your true credit scores are, because that lender is going to pull that for you. They're going to tell you everything that you're qualified for, how much home you can qualify for, and all of that. And they're going to actually give you basically a layout of, if you're not there, what you need to do to get there. So it's good to get pre-qualified first.
That's a good place to ask Jasmine. Is Jasmine, people come to the banks or go to them. I say, come. I'm gonna tell y'all. Let me tell y'all now. I'm a lender. So you got
Troy's a lender. He knows all of this stuff.
I got the money, so you're gonna need me to get the house anyway. But so you got me as the lender, you got Jasmine as the credit expert, and you got Cameron as the actual real estate agent. You got a full-fledged board of directors team right there.
That's right. And we're gonna get you together.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna do that, because I'm gonna send you right over. If your credit's shot, I'm sending you right to Jasmine. To enjoy, you got to actually accept the process. You really have to, because if you want it done right, it's a process.
That's right.
Yeah, compared to someone actually, hey, we get your credit right in 2 weeks, and then it come right back. But Cameron mentioned something about how the banks are going to pull your real credit score. So Jasmine, can you tell a little bit about the difference between the FICO, what you see on those daily things, you get alerts, and then you go to the bank and say, well, my credit 510, but on my FICO, I say I got a 730.
Right.
That. Can you explain a little bit on that?
So what a lot of people mistaken is like Credit Karma. Like everybody probably has heard of Credit Karma. Some people haven't, surprisingly, but Credit Karma is a good app to use for educational purposes only. You want to use it for educational purposes, because it's going to ding anytime somebody run your credit, or, it's going to let you know where you are, and it updates like every 7 days. So that's pretty good. However, where they make the mistake is They feel like the scores that they see on Credit Karma are their true scores. Now, what you see on Credit Karma are your Vantage scores, okay? So they are, so to kind of like give you a history of why there's a difference. FICO was here first, okay? FICO was in the mix first, but then Vantage, they pretty much said, well, hey, we see what y'all doing over there with those credit scores and those credit monitoring programs and stuff like that, and people are paying for them. So we want a piece of that pie. So that's how Vantage kind of came along, because they realized that, you know, there was something in it for them. They wanted a piece of the pie, as I stated. So that's where it comes in that where Vantage may not weigh a late payment as heavy as FICO will. So a Vantage score may say, well, you know, you were just late on that credit card, or you just missed a payment, so we won't judge you. We won't judge you too hard on it. We won't take that too harsh. When FICO actually, you know, they require a little bit more from you, right? So that's the reason why you may see sometimes that some scores are higher than the other. So you always want to know, to kind of like sum that up, always know your FICO score before you apply for anything, because you want to know where you are and if you'll be able to get approved for that. Like, you just want to know. You don't want to be out here just applying for stuff blindly, because that's not a good look either.
Because that dips into your credit, right? Your credit score.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hard increase count up 10% of your credit score. So you don't want to just be out here just applying for, you know, stuff, not knowing if you're going to get approved.
Well, you know what, Jasmine, another thing too, I have people ask me about, okay, I'm gonna go, they say I'm searching, you know, I'm going to this bank, see what they can offer, go to this bank, see what they can offer. And I'm telling them, be careful with the pulls. And they say, oh, but it's within a certain time frame. My person told me, as long as I do within 30 or 40 days, I'll be good. What is your thoughts on that? Because I tell them, hey, I'm not the credit game is so confusing, you know, because there's some companies, the reason why a lot of scores could be a little different as well. Those companies pay to get those reportings done.
Right.
If certain companies, like for example, you know, some tote-to-note places may not report to your credit report. They said, I got my car note and I've been paying on time for the past 5 years.
I hate when that happens. Yeah.
No place only pay Experian. That's it.
Yep. You have to be careful with that, because
yeah, go ahead.
If you're gonna be paying on something, credit is essential. It's everywhere. Okay. So if you're gonna be paying on something, you want it to report to all 3 credit bureaus. You don't want to just get credit from one place. Because what happens if you go somewhere and they pull from the place that the car is not reporting to, and you've been on time with this car, you've been doing right, you know, everything is good. You have a solid credit history or credit score, credit profile on that one credit bureau, but if they're not reporting it to everybody, you know, then that's not really good for you. It doesn't really work in your interest, or your, you know, it doesn't really work out good for you. So you want to make sure, like, before you apply for stuff, you kind of figure out, who do they report to? That's your number one question. Like, do you guys report to all 3 credit bureaus? I always ask that. If they say no, we only report to TransUnion, then I don't really want this account. I just don't.
Now, so you keep saying all 3 credit bureaus. I'm talking. We're gonna break this down to like people don't understand. What are these credit bureaus you're talking about?
So we got TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. They're the 3 main credit bureaus. And a lot of people think that they're government related, but they're not. And that's the reason why some people are kind of scared to dispute some of this stuff on their credit, because you can dispute anything that's on your credit, whether it's student loans, charge-offs, collections. You can dispute it and get it removed. Seriously, I removed some of my student loans. That doesn't mean that I don't owe them still. However, and I also disputed and removed my husband's student loans. Now he doesn't owe them anymore, like it was paid off. But however, you're still liable for that debt. What credit repair is, or what credit, your credit report is equivalent to a child's progress report. So though you may remove some of this stuff off of there, that doesn't completely erase you from owing these people. It's just basically cleaning you up and making you look a little shinier on paper.
Look, hey, she dropping y'all some jewels for free right now, what she normally charge now. You know what I'm saying? Drop some jewels on that. That's because what would be the difference between you and those individuals, that people that sell those credit monthly programs and like, hey, Hey, for example, being in mortgage, I have a lot of people. This is why I deal with Jasmine. I met Jasmine through another real estate agent. Real estate agent said, hey, because she brought me a client that had some questionable issues. And they said, well, let me I told them what their real credit was, Cam. I said, this is what your real credit is. They went back and told their realtor said, let me call my credit person. They called Jasmine. And me and Jasmine was on the phone discussing about how to make credit stronger, but she was so knowledgeable. And she didn't seem like someone that was just trying to say, because what would happen is, someone that does credit repair, they would call me and say, hey, man, you want to make some extra money? Okay, what I need, because look, since you know all these people that got bad credit, you can make a couple extra dollars on the side, blah, blah, blah. I ain't got time for that. And I ain't got time to try to sell the whole idea of pitching people on something that may not work. Because we've all heard about those people or that person that does credit repair, pay $99 or how much ever a month, but they're not doing anything. And when you learn how to do some credit stuff yourself, you know it's dispute letters. You really want to take the time. I used to tell my clients all the time, just get your credit report, go through it, educate yourself on what's on there, and send a dispute letter if you know you didn't do it, or settle with them if you need to because it's already old. You can save that $100-something or how much ever you're paying monthly to the person not doing anything. But Jasmine is different. Jasmine, why are you different though?
So to kind of like touch on, so here's the thing, like credit repair, like just like nothing else, nothing in life is guaranteed, right? And I always tell people that, like, if someone is guaranteeing you anything, you should definitely run the other way because legally we cannot guarantee you anything. However, what I do is I make sure, like, I personally work on my client's credits. So a lot of times, like, you may see some other companies where you're calling them like, hey, what's going on with my credit? They don't even know. They can't tell you because they're not personally involved with your case, right? But that's the difference between our company. Like, we are actually there. We're educating you along the way. I'm letting you know, like, hey, you told me your goal is home ownership. Well, we need to get a plan together. Like, I'm actually mapping out a plan for you that works for you. And so that way we can get you to your goal. And I'm really passionate about what I do. Like, I really love what I do. So that's kind of like, that's what sets me apart. Those are some of the things that set me apart. I can't, a lot more things come with when you join our program. So let's just say that.
She genuinely cares about others. She genuinely cares about others. That's part of her personality. That's the reason she offers free resources for people too, because she will tell you that you can repair your credit yourself. She tries to arm people that they can do it themselves and arm them with the materials to do it themselves also. It's not all about money because we're out here, we're trying to help people. We know what it's like to have bad credit. We know what it's like not to be able to get a home. That's one of the things you want to prepare for your family. So it's a big step. So that's why we do what we do.
Look at that. I mean, if you're not already passionate about these folk already, or don't feel the love in the room, you may not have a heart in your body. There may be something going on with you.
We look, Mississippi folks, we the state that has hospitality, so we're gonna take care of y'all.
We're gonna take care of it. Look, so this is what I wanted to make before we go. Ask any question. Please comment, call in at the number at the bottom, 615-745-9438. This is your opportunity to ask the credit person. Don't even worry about typing it in. Call in so she can answer it for you and hear your voice. And then we also have her husband here, who's the realtor. They can answer your question in regards to buying that house. Helps to go about, what do I need to do? This is your opportunity to call in about it, or you can leave a comment. That's good, but call in. Cam, I want to ask you this question.
Yes, I want to talk.
You want to talk, Cam? I want to ask you this question. Do you guide people? Somebody might come to you about saying, "Hey, I want to buy a house," but after you get to know them, because it seems like you're going to really open up the onion and say, "Tell me this, tell me that. What's your blood type? Everything, right?"
Oh yeah.
All in the business.
I can lay down some questions.
So that's what I'm saying. So explain the reason why it's important to be able to divulge that. You're not being nosy. You actually want to know more about them. Tell them why it's important. Tell people why it's important to tell your realtor what they need to know to find you. Tell them why it's important.
It's important because I need to know these things. I need to know what's in the background. You don't want to go out there and get your credit pulled and you're not ready. Like, I want you to be 100% ready when you get there. I need to know all these things so I know where to meet you at and how to get you to home ownership.
And also, it's about like your job. You got to make sure, like, he talks about this all the time, but you got to make sure that, like, he's gonna ask you questions about, like, how long have you been on your job, stuff like that he needs to know. So all of that stuff, it may seem like he being in your business, but it's for your better interest.
It takes a skill to be able to ask sensitive questions to people, and them not feel pride upon. It takes a specific set of skills to do that. Because I will lay down some questions, I will, but it's all about being tactful on how you do it and being respectful. Getting to the information, because we need that information in order to see where you are and how we can best suit you. Because we're armed with the knowledge to be able to help you get to home ownership. We can tell you each step that you need to take in order to get there. We don't want you to bump your head. We want to guide you to home ownership. We're trying to help you. So, we just have to know that information in order to get you where you are, because everybody's situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you tell somebody they're not ready to buy? Would you tell them that? After they got all in their business, say, "Oh, you all in my business. Why you need to know all that?" And you ain't ready yet.
Well, I would use the words "they're not ready to buy." I usually would tell them that I would basically inform them what their next steps should be in order to get ready to buy. I try to refrain from telling people directly, "Oh, you're not ready to buy nothing. You might as well just shut it down." That's mentally depressing to somebody. You can't do that. People may do it, but I wouldn't do that.
That's a Southern love. Look at that. I'm gonna just straight up tell you ain't ready yet. It ain't the time. If you get in long enough, you're like, look, it ain't right now. You need to look at rent right now, because it happens. And Jasmine, I'm quite sure you probably had to tell somebody too, you ain't ready yet. They don't win it. You done told them not to.
I say at this time we are able to assist you.
Oh, you don't fire somebody before. I know you don't fire somebody before. But when you tell someone, is it important for people to understand, Jasmine, after you're working on their credit, to not go buy, after your credit go up a little bit, to not go buy something else?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it important?
Well, because of your DTI. Like, a lot of people, they go and like, their scores go up, and then they'll say, well, oh, I really need a new car. And it's like, well, hey, you remember what you told me your goals were? You told me your goal was home ownership. So if the goal is home ownership, you don't ever want to buy that. If you're in 1 year, like next year is 2021. And if your goal is, you need a new car, but you also know you're tired of renting, you want to get your house first. Get your house first, because your car is going to be looked upon as a new loan with a huge balance, a new account with a huge balance. And so lenders, what you are going to do, Troy, is when we send them over to you, you're going to pretty much say, well, you know what? They just got a new car and now they owe $30,000 on this car, and they're $30,000 in debt. Well, by the money that their income, right? They can't really afford the house that they want. Like, and that's where it becomes sad or depressing and disappointing, because we've got a person to a 640 or above, and now they went out and bought a car and they can't qualify for the home that they want. Like, you may say, well, you know what? I want a house that's like I saw this house is real pretty, 250,000. Well, that car just increased your DTI, your debt to income ratio. You can't afford that house that you want because it's not adding up, because it's now Troy is seeing you're $30,000 in debt. So how can you afford this home?
Well, Jasmine, talking about. Well, go ahead, Cam. You had something you want to say, because I seen you back there.
Yeah. I was just agreeing, because you do run into that a lot. They'll be ready credit score wise, but they'll be like, "Oh, I just went and purchased this car last year. How much you got left to pay on that car?" So, it's a big asset. And that's what kind of blocks a few people from getting where they need to be.
So let me tell you how important debt to income is. Because what happened is I'm qualifying you, or the bank is qualifying you on what your monthly income is and how much you got to pay for that debt you make every month. So we're not even thinking about what the large amount would be for $40,000. We're looking at the monthly aspect of it. So if your house you're trying to buy is $1,200 a month. That's how much it costs for the rent, tax, and insurance included. Because remember, you may only say it's more than just your principal and interest that's on this mortgage. You got taxes and insurance. And if you're not putting 20% down to have more, where you own more of the home, you're also going to have what they call property mortgage insurance, PMI. So all that got to be counted for. So if that's $1,200 a month, you make $2,000 a month, right? Mm-hmm. You make the math easier. Your bills are $1,000 a month. You make $2,000. If $1,000 of that money that you make a month going towards bills, you only left with 50% of your income left.
Yep.
Majority of the time, max debt to income is 50%. Like on the FHA or something like that, the debt to income max is 50%. So if you go over that, so now you only got $1,000 left to play with. Not really play with, but we're already at the max. You go out and buy a car. Your payment on that is just say, $500 a month. Now your debt to income, now your debt done went to $1,500. Now you left with $500. Remember, we was already at 50%. You're well over that now. Now I gotta call. Now we gotta call and tell you, hey, unfortunately, that house you were trying to buy that you were going to actually close on next week, but you didn't get a new car. Say, for example, you didn't even get the car. Say you co-signed for somebody. You're not even paying the note. That's going your cousin paying that note. You just want to help him because he got to go to college and he got to drive to school. Well, guess what? Your cousin just helped you out on not getting a house.
Yeah.
To go live with
and student loans too. Get your student loans in order too.
Yeah. Student loans too. But in regards to that, in regards to debt to income, even if you're co-signing for someone, that now makes you liable. Even though you don't make the payment, you're now liable for that payment just in case you don't even pay it.
Right.
So that's why it's very important. Get all that after you get your house. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The same day. Do that the same day.
You can do all that as long as we
wait. Yeah.
We got to close and sign first.
Yeah.
You go sign, you close and go. Now you go, because believe me, you're gonna get all type of mail all type of mail to my get this, get that.
Yeah.
Just don't do it beforehand.
That's right.
Just don't do it beforehand. But look, listen to what they're selling. What they're saying is about the key word I've heard today is education. Educate yourself. Educate yourself in regards to what you really want to do. If you're trying to buy something, buy a house, educate yourself. Get with Cameron and sit down and then divulge everything. Because believe me, when you get to me, I'm gonna be all up in your grits.
Yeah.
While you're trying to hide stuff from here and hide stuff from me, they got something what they call title search. We got a title company that do all this searching. They scour the earth. It's almost like child support. And while you're not trying to tell me something, and I find out you owe taxes in California, that can stop everything. Oh yeah, I forgot I owe taxes in the state of California. Well, guess what? You got to either pay them off at closing. We got to work out a payment plan because now that's counted against your debt to income.
And that's why it's important for you to save, because a lot of things come up like that.
Yep.
That you may have forgot about. You forgot about it, but they didn't forget.
Yeah. So let's go back to what Cameron said before we go. Cameron mentioned something about first-time home buyers and how you need to have a little money because you got to pay what they call, because there's two parts of money. There's down payment and there's closing costs. So there are certain programs available for first-time home buyers. You know what I'm saying? That there are there. If your credit can be challenging or you may not have money to down payment to be able to take care of some things. But just because there's there, it's always to be ready for whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So like Jasmine mentioned about putting some money aside. Just start putting a couple of dollars in. I always encourage someone to save at least 1% of whatever if you're trying to buy a house of $200,000, put 1% of that away and just start stacking. Just put that to the side just in case to cover those things like Cameron talked about, your inspection, stuff like that. It's gonna be some things that need to be getting done to the house before you even get started.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be responsible for a faulty foundation of the house because you want to buy this house. This is my dream house, dog. This is what I wanted. Okay. Did you get an inspection done? Because I don't require you to get one. The bank don't require you to get one, but we encourage you to.
Highly recommend it.
And you might want to get homeowners insurance.
Oh,
yeah.
So then when it come down to it, say, hey, you got a crack in the foundation because you didn't have no inspection. The bank don't care who, we gonna get paid.
Oh yeah.
You didn't get an inspection done, man. I hate that for you. You still owe $1,700 a month. You follow what I'm saying? We need that $2,000 off the top.
Oh yeah.
Because you should have got an inspection. So it's important. Have those couple of dollars aside to pay for things like the inspection, to pay for whatever that might come up in the process of getting the house. Don't listen to, what do you guys say to this? When someone say, well, my cousin them, you know, they credit was this, or my cousin them got a house and they was able to get this and they had no money. Why can't you do it? What do you say to somebody when they say that? Jasmine or Cameron, what do you say?
Everybody's situation is different. Their situation may be different than yours. They're not telling you everything that went on. They're not divulging everything that's on there that's going on with them. They're only telling you part of a story. So, you know, everybody's situation is different. No two people are the same. So
that's good.
That's the only thing you can beat there with, simply because that's one true factor. You can't rely on what somebody else did to suit you in your personal life. So your situation, you may have something on there that they didn't, and they qualify for that program to help them with it. So
because sometimes you gotta tell them, did your cousin go through a divorce? Okay. Did your cousin it's so many, like you said, every situation is different.
Different factors.
This much money? Yeah. Do your cousin pay this much money in child support? Well, that's different. That is different. Your cousin ain't got that.
That's right.
So all right then, Jasmine. So you got some things you want to drop off to folks before we get up out of here.
Yes. How many people do we have watching? How many people have phone?
Right now, you got about 4 left.
4 people. Okay. So I want all 4 of you to drop your names in the comment section. Drop your names in the comment section and drop your email address, because I'm going to gift you with a 7-step credit repair guide. So if you're someone on here who's watching, your goal is home ownership, then, and if you need to repair your credit and maybe you don't want to hire a company right now, maybe that's just not in your budget, or maybe you don't trust someone else to do that for you, then we're going to give you a 7-step strategy guide for tuning in with us and joining us, because we want you to, even if we're not doing it for you, we want you to do it yourself. So it's a 7-step strategy guide that teaches you step by step how you can repair your credit on your own. After you have gotten your 7-step strategy guide, we also have a do-it-yourself credit repair group. You can come over, join that credit group where we answer questions all day long if you have it. If you have questions, and then after you have repaired your credit, then Cameron, we're going to send you over to Cameron. He's going to sell you your dream home, take you out looking for it. And then my guy, Troy, he's going to be the one to help you make the big deal, make the big purchase. So drop your names in the comment section, drop your email address, and I'm going to send you a free credit 7-step credit repair guide. Repair your credit. You can repair your credit in 7 easy steps.
There it is. Cam, you got something you want to say before you head out?
Yeah, I had fun. This is my first. I was nervous, at first. I don't do too much public speaking. I'm more of a person-to-person, in-person person. So it's been a very good experience. I like this.
Well, good, man. Well, I'm glad
you're doing a good thing, Troy. We appreciate you.
Well, I appreciate y'all.
Allowing people to come on here and just talk and tell their story and tell what they do. That speaks a lot about you as a person, and we appreciate you for everything.
Very much.
Well, we appreciate it. You got folks dropping it in, so you better back it up.
Make sure y'all like, subscribe, y'all join us. Like Troy, he's really good. He do these podcasts a lot, so you'll figure out you'll find out about a lot of people who are in business.
But there it is. Well, we appreciate y'all. Remember, the true outcome of having a mindset of successful thinking is having an unwavering expectation of successfully achieving a predetermined goal. knowing that the outcome was supposed to happen. Also, remember the two most important currencies in life are time and relationships. Time, you got to invest wisely because you can't get it back. Relationships get you places that money can't buy. Thank you again to the credit expert, Jasmine Harris of Houston Financial. And thank you again to your preferred realtor, Cam Houston. And he putting it down, man. The power.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.